So we're back at the house. Got the Buick in the garage with the 3800 Series 2 V6 motor. First thing you're gonna wanna do is disconnect the negative to your battery before you do anything mechanical or tunes or anything to your vehicle. You're gonna always wanna disconnect the negative terminal. And I'm gonna show you what we got. This is the oil pan gasket. I got the oil here. I also got some Lucas in the house, and I'm gonna tell you guys something about Lucas towards the end of this video, so stay tuned with that. I got napkins and stuff just in case things get a little bit messy. I think I got too many on, to be honest, but you can't never have too many of something, you know what I'm saying? Got some fast orange hand cleaner. I got my blue gloves on. This thing came with some gloves and everything. Got some paint thinner right here, so I can scrub off the oil pan at the top where the gasket used to be. Got the oil filler. I got some wire brushes here also. And I got an oil catch can. Alright, so I'm about to crawl up underneath the car, show you guys exactly what's going on, show you guys why I'm changing this gasket to the oil pan. So another thing I want to show you guys is which you can never be too safe when you're working underneath a vehicle. I got these ramps here. These things are made for a truck, so but you know, when something is engineered, then you know you can't never take that too serious, because everybody have a bad day when they engineering something. They might have engineered these with a flaw, you never know. I also got these jack stands up underneath here. I got my parking brake on. I got this hammer behind the wheel. That's on that side, just in case this tire behind the wheel don't stop the car. So yeah, guys, you can never be too safe. I know there are probably plenty of stories out there where guys know somebody working up underneath a car probably got crushed by one or killed or seriously injured. I'm not trying to be that guy. So yeah, guys, you can never be too safe. Make sure that you take safety serious when you're doing this. Alright, so we are now up underneath the Buick. Hopefully you guys got a good view of this. There's a bunch of oil residue everywhere, even up on my transmission pan here, which that's not transmission fluid, it's just oil just coming from around the seals here. You guys should be able to see it. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. But there's moisture all around this whole pan, including this bottom here. I'm always having to top her off with some oil. Always got to keep an eye on it. So I know that's probably where it's leaking from. It's definitely these seals up here. Alright guys, so this oil pan bolt is a 15 millimeter. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to lefty loosey. I got my oil pan catch up underneath. Try not to keep your hand at the bottom, because you know the oil is going to pour at the bottom first if you don't want to make too much of a mess. Usually I try to keep pressure forward so I can keep the oil in there until I get the screw all the way out. It just pop out like that. Eliminates from you having to keep changing gloves and everything. Oh, she black. She blacker than black. She been ready to come up out of there, guys. I said I gotta keep mixing oil in and all this other crazy mess. Ain't no telling where else this oil is going, so hopefully I can get down to the bottom of the problem. Now once this is just dripping, I'm gonna take this oil filter right here, I'm gonna take that off so the whole line can breathe, and then a lot more oil will come out of this oil pan here. So you guys stay tuned. A good tool to invest in is one of these oil filter pullers. These jokers come in handy because some of these oil filters be on very tight, man. You could break it with this tool here. I think they like $8 at AutoZone. So like I said, all of the oil is done dripped out with the oil pan. So now I'm gonna take this here off. Let the rest of the oil drain out. Then we can start seeing what we got with this oil pan, see what other things we need to take off before we can get to it. We've taken down a transmission cover that's to the left of our oil pan here. It'll take two 10mm bolts. Just take those two out, pull the cover down. Then you have access up there to the rest of the bolts to the oil pan. And the oil pan will take 3/8 socket. So I'm just gonna take and loosen all of them. And then I'm gonna come back and take them off so the oil pan will come out plush. I'll let you guys see what everything looks like once the oil pan is dropped. So there's one last bolt I was unable to get to. It's this one right here, behind this piece. So the only thing you got to do is use a open end wrench, an adjustable wrench. Turn this downwards like that to where you'll be able to pop this sensor right here out, or this plug. Only thing you gotta do is pull up on that tab on the plug, pull the plug out. Now I can twist this piece here out, and then I'll be able to get to that bolt that's up at the top there. Alright, so we now have the oil pump down, and this here is the old gasket sitting up here at the top that you guys can see. Trying to be careful because there's still oil dripping now. Not to get it on the camera. So I may have to take this oil pump out. Yeah, so I may have to take this here off to be able to bring that down, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know. But yeah, this is the old gasket. This is the one that's been giving me problems. Yep, I can definitely see where it's corroded on the edges, like it's chipped off a little bit. Also, here's the oil pan itself. So I will be cleaning all this goo out. Be trying to get the residue and this milky stuff, which that's not good to have milky oil like that. I mean, I got a mixture of coolant and oil somewhere, so I'm about to figure out what the problem is with that. But meantime, I'm about to go ahead and try to get this gasket off. Alright, so I did have to take out the oil pump screen, and I'm gonna have to take that gasket off that the oil pump screen bolted up to. Here's the oil pump screen. I had to take that off to be able to get the whole gasket out, otherwise it wasn't coming out anywhere else. Everything looks pretty well old up under here. So I'm gonna clean off every surface, guys, and get ready to bolt everything back up. Bolt the new hardware back up. Alright guys, so what you're gonna wanna do, you're just gonna wanna essentially just take a clean rag and just wipe the whole surface off. Make sure you ain't got any gunk or anything on it. You don't wanna do any scraping or scratching or any of that, because majority of this stuff is aluminum that you're about to bolt back up to. So yeah, that's his surface clean that I'm about to put the gasket back up. So far, we got the oil pump screen back in. I got the gasket held up by 2 bolts That's the easiest way you can do it, just so you don't have to hold the gasket up and try to tighten down those 2 bolts, which are 8mm bolts. So instead of trying to hold up the gasket, I just put 2 dummy bolts inside, 1 on each side just to hold it. And I was able to get the screen up, no problem. Also, show you guys, I got this fairly clean around the edges. I didn't have to do any scraping or scrubbing. The only thing that I did was taking these paper towels here from AutoZone, wiped everything down. You do not want to use water on this. I would not chance trying to put water in something that oil go in. I don't care how dry you get it or whatever. I just wouldn't chance it could possibly rust out over time. So yeah, the only thing I did was use paper towels. And guys, it is mad cold out here. That's why I can barely talk. I'm over here shivering. I got this little heater going for me, but I can't wait to move, man, so I can get a 2-car garage, just at least climate control. I can definitely bring you guys a lot more content. But yeah, so I'm about to go ahead and bolt this back up, and I'll show you guys the progress. And before we go any further, before I do bolt this back up, I do want to tell y'all that I did apply some Permatex gasket sealant on the oil pan here. You don't have to put any on that gasket, just put it around the oil pan. As you guys can see, the green stuff, this is what I'm using here, form a gasket sealant, just so if there is any kind of imperfections on this oil pan at the top, that'll definitely seal it up and it'll be nice and even all the way around. The only thing I did was I just went around with the tube, put a nice little even line on it, and then just smooth it out with my fingers. So now we're about to put the oil pan up. All right, we are making progress. We have all of the bolts around the oil pan tightened back up. We have the transmission cover back on. So what you guys are gonna wanna do is, when you're putting these bolts back, you're gonna wanna do a cross pattern. It's just like the lugs on the car. So if you hit this one, I hit that one, maybe that one, then hit that one, and then go from the top to the middle right there, to the middle over here, and just keep going across pattern, guys. Don't tighten them down all the way yet. What I did was I just put all the bolts in here, not even hand tighten, you know, just so the pan is still loose. And then I went and did my cross pattern. So make sure you do that before you tighten all the bolts down. You're gonna definitely want to cross pattern. The only thing I gotta do now is fill this oil filter up with oil. So what I do is I make sure that it's filled all the way to the brim, and then I'll put a little bit around the edge here, and then I screw it back in. So you guys are gonna want to do that when you are giving yourself an oil change. Make sure that this oil filter is topped off. We got the fuel filter on at the bottom, screwed on tight. Next thing you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to do some research on how many quarts of oil that your car take. You don't want to overfill it, you don't want to underfill it. So this 3800 series 2 V6 and 99 Buick takes 4.5 quarts. So I'm gonna put 4 quarts in it, and then I'm gonna put 0.5 of the Lucas in it. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you guys why not to do the 20% Lucas and then 80% oil. Alright guys, so after adding your oil, start the car up, let it run. Just keep an eye on all your gauges. Mine's been running for about 5 minutes. I've been checking everything. So you should let it run for about maybe 5 to 15 minutes, your preference. Just keep checking up underneath the car, make sure you don't have any leaks. So far so good with mine, guys. Mine would have been leaking by now. With the old gasket on there, you would have been seeing drops of oil. So far so good. She sounds wonderful. Gauge is reading good. So after about 5 or 15 minutes, you're gonna want to turn the car off, let it sit. Then you're gonna want to check your oil dipstick. Make sure that you got the right amount of oil in there. If you need to add some, add some. So yeah, guys, what I wanted to tell y'all about the Lucas was that that Lucas is so thick that if you add a lot of Lucas with your oil and it's cold outside, like the temperatures that we got today and that we're gonna have tonight, it's like 20-something degrees, it's liable to freeze. So if you just take it one day, which I've left a few things of Lucas in my garage before and it froze over. And so there's like a lot of tests that you can actually run with it too, that it'll show you the same results, that you don't want to have too much Lucas because it's so thick, and if it freezes then you kind of screwed with trying to crank your car up, and then it's, you know, cycling and trying to get all the parts and stuff greased up. I mean, you will really have to wait until your motor heats up to really unthaw that stuff. So you don't want to wear your parts out with inadequate oil pressure levels or oil when you put too much Lucas in it. So what I did was I ran 4 quarts of oil, and then I ran 0.5 quarts of the Lucas, which it didn't even take half of the bottle. This is the Lucas that I'm talking about here. And I mean, guys, this stuff is like honey or like molasses when you're trying to pour it. It's so thick. So you know, too much of it is not good for your engine. It actually got warning labels and stuff on the bottle to let you know, like, don't pour too much in there, because, you know, it'll mess your engine up. So just run your regular oil, put a little bit of that Lucas in there. Next time you get an oil change, put a little bit more until your engine gets used to the Lucas. But you still don't want to add too much of it. You don't want to add a full bottle of Lucas in there. So just a little bit at a time, each oil change is good. So yeah, guys, as y'all can hear, man, she's running strong, no ticking. This is a 99 running like this. So yeah, that is how you change an oil pan gasket and do an oil change on your car yourself. This is a 3800 series V6 motor. You guys can take from whatever you want to take from this video and do the same to your cars. The only thing you gotta do is just get all of the bolts around your oil pan and take them out, and then just analyze what you got up in there. What I usually do, I go ahead and buy my parts before I actually start working on anything, so I can look at the parts. Then when I get up underneath the car, I can see what needs to be taken off, what needs to be put back together, and how everything looks. So yeah, man, that's about it. Two-time Moto TV out, and until next time, peace.